It's the Lay Fun Guys podcast. Welcome. I'm Samir, and I got my co-host Mark.
Yeah.
What up? Go Habs, go!
Habs.
Huge win,
Huge.
Mark. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, big win. Big difference from game one. It was obviously a lot tighter. No one wanted to make a mistake. But I had like three key points. Number one, the shorthanded special teams. Uh, Habs have done really well in that department. Got 9 shorthanded goals in 56 games. Byron game one against the Leafs on that huge goal when he was on the ice. And then Tyler Toffoli, the perfect toe drag, beats Hellybook. That's all the Habs needed. But the key there was just Weber's quick pass up the ice. The Jets had 4 forwards, 1 defenseman, and they cheated. They were all the four box was up. So it was just one quick pass, and Toffoli just skated up, had Lekin on the side, buried it. That was awesome. And that's what happens when you play 4 forwards and 1 defenseman on your power play. Is Connor got owned there. So good on them. Secondly, the depth really was a key. Canadians team is rolling 4 lines consistently, and thankfully their top four is holding up. Obviously with Gustafson, Kulak, they're getting paired with one of those top four guys, usually 10-minute guys. But when you compare it to the Jets, we got Jordy Ben, remember him? Harkins, Vesalainen, they're clearly hurting without Statsy didn't play, DeMello didn't play, Scheifele got 4 games. So Habs have an edge there, and they're rolling 4 lines, which is awesome, especially that fourth line with Corey Perry, Stahl was they put together some good plays in there when they needed a little boost, and they've been a sure revelation. Finally, just their formation, like in terms of forechecking, they're doing a really good job with that. We saw in the third period many 2-on-1s. If it wasn't for Hallybuck, Canadians would have scored multiple goals. And they really kept a lot of the Jets' chances to the outside. There wasn't even that much. And that's tough from a Jets perspective because you have a great goaltender on Carey Price. They're keeping to the outside, and it makes sense that they didn't have many scoring opportunities. So and what that led to is really creating more turnovers and quick counterattacks. So Canadians' game plan was very, very good there, and good on them for executing on it.
Mark, let me talk to you about what I mentioned were the keys to success early on in the before the series started. Number one was special teams. We got a shorthanded goal yesterday. Second was disciplined hockey, right? Habs only took 2 penalties yesterday, giving the Jets 2 power plays. And then Price was phenomenal, got a shutout. So those three are the keys to victory. Now here's some other facts that I want to throw at you. No Mark Scheifele suspension for 4 games on the Evans hit. No Paul Stasny.
You agree with the
And
4 games, by the way?
sorry.
You agree with the 4 games?
Yeah, of course. I
Yeah.
think I think it should have been more, but I think 4 is a good number.
Should have
Like
been more. It could have been 2 though, but I think NHL did what they can there. And
yeah, exactly. So I'm okay with it. I've like moved on from it actually, but I feel like it's a decent number. Uh, no Stasny, no Mark Scheifele, and no Demelo. So your base, and then Pierre-Luc Dubois has not been playing center all season with the Jets. Now he's moved to the center. So your center depth in Winnipeg is completely gone. It's also another interesting fact is the Habs have knocked out a top three guy on each of their teams that they've been playing. First was Tavares, now it's Scheifele. So they are getting, I guess, good luck from that perspective, playing against not able to, because teams can't replace that type of talent. You just can't do that in midseason. Even if guys step up across your organization, those guys are just too elite. So, and then match that with the Jets' really weak defense, right? So you're gonna get a pretty easy matchup, and you saw that throughout the game. I mean, Jets could not sustain any pressure. It felt to me like I was watching Montreal Calgary when Calgary was just dominating the Habs in those key games during the season. This was almost the same thing, except Montreal was now dominating Winnipeg. I mean, our forecheck was on point. Every time we would get the puck, we seemed to be in the offensive zone. You had guys like Corey Perry and Eric Stahl looking like speedsters, like they were, their career was rewound 10 years. I mean, they're getting, they're playing amazing. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, the Jets are making them look like all stars again. And then you have the only thing that seems to be positive for the Jets is Connor Hellebuck. I mean, he has stopped most of the shots, except one, right? And that kind of sucks because Canadians had 24 shots on goal and he stopped 23. So he's getting the saves, he's getting the goals against average. He kept them in the game. That's for sure. I mean, Habs had chance after chance after chance, so many 2-on-1s, and they couldn't convert. That's all thanks to Hellebuck. So Habs are getting lucky. I think Game 3 is going to be more of a mental test for the Habs because that depth is still gone for Winnipeg. And
Well,
can
what
they
do you think
really
they need
have
to
that
do?
killer instinct? That's what the Habs need. They need to kill the Jets at this most very crucial moment. Because if they get up 3-0, then the emotional ability to get over a 3-0 deficit for the Jets will be too hard. And I don't think they come back. So Game 3 to me is a really key game. And I'd like to see the Habs really get that killer instinct and take it to the Jets.
Oh, no doubt game three is key because we have to remember game four is on a back to back. Ducharme did confirm Price will 99.9% start both games, but they have the Jets right where they want them. And that's right. They just need to take game three tomorrow night, Sunday night at the Bell Center. 2,500 fans, use that to your advantage. The key for Winnipeg is going to be to get that first goal. But I mean, what I want to see is Cole Caulfield. So we didn't mention this, but I mentioned this in the after game one. But in the preview, I mentioned this will be Cole Caulfield's series to break out. Now, what happened in game one? He passed on the puck often. I think it's out of respect for other players. But what I liked is he got 5 shots on net after the first 2 periods of this past game. So I think he needs to continue that. If he keeps doing that, they'll score. He needs to shoot, and that'll bode well. You'll have home. He'll have lineup, so maybe he'll be matched up against Logan Stanley, skate circles around him, and that will be key. And I just want to see the young players. KK. I mean, he had a great game again. Didn't get on the score sheet, but certainly dominated in terms of chances. So those are going to be my two guys to watch is KK and Caufield. Let these young guns, complement this team.
Yeah, I think I agree. I'd like to see the young core move this team forward. But definitely one guy I'm really cheering for is Josh Anderson. I mean, he's also quite young, but and he's been playing phenomenally well. A lot of energy, a lot of hits, high intensity game. Just not getting on the score sheet, and I think that's a bit unlucky. I mean, he had one shot on goal yesterday. I think he can do a lot more. He's still getting power play time. He's getting around 13, 14 minutes a game. So I'd like to see Josh Anderson get a few pucks past Hellebuck, I'm kind of rooting for him. And I think that guys that you mentioned obviously are going to be the key guys that are going to bring us forward, like Suzuki, Kakanyemi, Caufield. Those are the guys. And then I'm also hoping this Dano line with Gallagher starts to pick it up. I mean, they don't really have a crazy defensive matchup anymore with all those guys injured. I'd like to see them break out. And maybe it's time to bring Tatar back into the mix.
I disagree with Tatar. I mean, they look just fine with Lekkonen there, defensive presence. The series is going to get tighter, and you just got to roll. You have other guys that could put the puck in the net right now. Tatar doesn't bring that physicality. I expect Winnipeg to play their best game, game three, and you really need like the defensive presence. And what we saw was what was important was Tatar took some terrible penalties against the Leafs. Only 3 penalties the entire game. So that's one thing I think that works for Montreal. Winnipeg, they're very top heavy. They still have Connor, they still have Ellers, guys who could put the puck in the net, especially when they have space. So I'll take the defensive presence, even though Lekkonen can't score a goal for his life, it seems. But yeah, I would leave Tatar out of there until maybe they're down in a series, or you have a goal scoring forward that gets injured. But yeah,
Well,
so
it's going
that's
to be a tough time if they can't seem to figure out the finishing because there's two series on the other side that we're probably the winner of this is going to play next, and that's Colorado and Vegas. Now that those two teams are stacked with finishing talent. Mark, did you see the game last night? Incredible game. It was so exciting to see Vegas come back. Marc-Andre Fleury looked shaky on those goals, but he did make a lot of key saves during the game.
Yeah, I watched the third period of that game, and wow, like that was intense when Vegas made that comeback. First, Marchessault, smart play, hit it off Grubauer's back leg, and then Pacioretty with the game winner. Less than a few minutes left. You thought the roof was gonna explode. Um, I predicted Colorado would win the series. From a Montreal perspective, I just wanted to go seven. Because if this series drags on, it's physical, intense series. You never know. They could start to run out of gas, and then that can help Montreal, especially if we're able to close this Winnipeg team out in 4 or 5. And I did predict Colorado, but when you look at Vegas, wouldn't that be a great story too? Marc Andre Fleury, I got Chez Nous. I'd say Fleury and Price have been, when you look at like that long-term horizon, the two most consistent best goalies in the NHL. So that would be a great storyline having Marchessault and of
I
course,
would put Vasilevsky in that mix, but okay.
well, he's a bit younger, right? But Fleury, Price, older goalies. So when you look at that time horizon, but yeah, Max Pacioretty coming to the Bell Center, that would be pretty special, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of key storylines there. I mean, former captain. Anytime a former captain comes to play, and then plus the heightened of the playoffs, the fact that this is going to take you to the Stanley Cup is going to be a big series. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I
Yes.
still think Colorado has what it takes. And you look at the way Colorado plays, man. They run their big lines: McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog, all played just close to 20 minutes last game. I mean, that's a lot to put on forwards, and they like to run their big lines, and you see that, and they're always on the ice, and these guys can finish. They have incredible finish, incredible speed, and it's to me, if Montreal ends up playing a team like Colorado, they're basically facing themselves in terms of the speed, but with way more skill, and that's going to be scary to see because that Colorado team is just stacked with talent, and then their back end is a lot more. Seems to be there's a lot more depth. They run six guys or even five, where we're running four right now. So and our guys are a bit old, where they have Devin Taves and Kale McCarr, who are their big young guns, right? And then you think
We have
Sam
young
Bernard
guns
as
too,
well.
but they're
So
sitting in the press box in Romanov. But
yeah,
let's
well,
not
Romanov,
discuss that anymore. He's
yeah.
clearly not going to come in until there's a big injury. Even with that, I don't even know how high he is in the depth lineup. But
Yeah,
yeah,
where did it go wrong for Romanov? I really don't know.
let's not talk about that anymore. Clearly, we're not going to see him Romanov until who knows when. But I still
No,
believe it.
it would be interesting to learn more about what's going on there, because I really am surprised that a guy who's labeled as one of your best defensemen throughout the year, and at times showed he was ahead of Shea Weber and Jeff Petrie. Yeah, and for I mean even that's a minority. That's still really good, and I'm surprised that he's not getting time in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, say they've won again, longest winning streak. We'll certainly we still have to worry about game 3. Probably won't see Romanov, but they just have to keep playing the way they have, a strong forechecking game, capitalize on turnovers, and I like this series. Finish the job. Game 3. If they play like they did the rest of the series, I think this Montreal team could take it. And then, yeah, just close it out. You don't want to see Shifley back game 6 because that could give
So you're
Winnipeg a
basically saying for every round they win, that's how long you should extend Marc Bergevin. So if they win one round, give them 1 year extension. If they win two rounds, give them 2 year extension. If they win
well,
three,
it's not up
3
to me to write the checks, but
years.
clearly
Yeah, you're
Molson is Bergevin's gonna be like, you see, I told you I have a playoff team.
2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we're ready to fire everybody,
I
including
did,
the
yeah.
trainer, and now we're ready to hire everyone, including the trainer's son, and the trainer's gardener. So,
Give
uh, What a
Give
turn of
everyone
events.
blank checks at this point. Who knows what it'll be next week? You said all season, Samir, this is a Jekyll and Hyde team. I'm still waiting for now that it's things are going too well. Let's see if we could just maintain it, and let's see if it's Jekyll and Hyde or if they're just really a playoff team. And this we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. Well, we'll be back right after the game. Tomorrow, it's a 3 p.m. Western Pacific start, I think, and a
Who cares about Western? Six.
6 p.m. Eastern start. Well, I'm on the West Coast, so I'm sure there's a lot of Habs fans on the West Coast too, and Jets fans.
That's
Central time.
right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All
All
right. Well,
right.
we'll be
Thanks
back.
for watching.
Go Habs, go!